Good morning. Welcome back to Farming Simulator 25, Remote Off-Grid Homestead Series. Alright, so, once again, red tape has let me down. We're into December now, and nothing's happened with that supposed grant that I applied for. It hasn't been accepted or denied, so I have no idea what the hell's going on there. I guess this really is simulating real-world government. A little too much, I think. Alright, so let's check prices today. Now, flour. There it is. So, 804 is the peak, and we're at 809 and it's going down. So, alright. I might have to make two trips. One to haul in the flour and one to haul in the produce. Yeah. Yeah, this isn't all going to fit on one load. Grab all these up. I'll shove as much of the flour as I can on the first load, and then I'll come back for the second load. Although I'm uncertain if I should go ahead and just build the reserve food factories or wait for a resolution from the grant request. Although my history with this mod would indicate I'll probably get no actual resolution to it. Yeah, sticking the center first. That way I don't have to worry about dragging one off this side. Let me check on my chickens. Oh yeah, they got plenty of food. Apparently I got a cesta fine because the transfer cage I used didn't have any food in it, so that was counting me as not feeding my chickens. And check see how many eggs are in this pallet. It is full. It just hasn't started a new one yet. Mm. Oh no, that is annoying. I'll put these back in here and then the chickens can finish filling them up. Sorry, and get that one paused. Alright, I'll see you at the shop. Alright, here we are at the shop with the first load. Alright. 26,552. Not bad. Alright, I'll head back and get the second load. Bit of a coughing fit there. I wonder if it's the case with the grant you have to build the building and then it decides whether or not you get it. I'm going to have enough by the end of today, so I guess one way or another I'll just build the preserved foods factory. And then I'll find out. It's just going to take a while for it to finish building, so... God, I hope I'm not getting sick. Alright, be right back. Even though it's 2:39 a.m., my wife wants breakfast. Alright, I'm all loaded up now, so I'm heading to the shop. I'll see you there. Alright, here I am at the shop. Okay. 15,242. Yes, nice. Alright, head back to the farm. Alright, here we are back at the shop. Go ahead and park the trailer. And while I'm down here, let's go ahead and get this taken care of. Alright. Leave some room to work up there. Also need to leave room for the right-of-way. This should work right here. I'll have you know this isn't actually here yet. This won't actually be here till April. Alright. So, canned peas, jarred green beans, kimchi. Wow, this uses a lot of Napa cabbage, but not very much else. Noodle soup, flour and eggs. That'll be nice. Beet spinach bags. Huh. So I can do rice rolls or box rice. Well, that opens up a lot of options for me to plant in the spring. Although that being said, I don't really have any open fields to plant. Unless I was to give up this grass. Which is not out of the question. Yeah, a little over a year's worth of planning and about 4 months of construction seems about right. Especially, being out here, I don't have to keep waiting for inspections all the time. Alright, first of the month, so I gotta do the watering. I'll be back when the watering is done. Okay, the water is done. Move on to the next day. Second half of December. I'll start the day at 9 instead of 8, since it'll still be dark at 8. Okay. You have no idea what the hell's going on with that grant. Let me check out how much. So, let me check that hay and straw. All right, straw. 48. So I need to sell the straw this week. Although there's nowhere near as much straw as there normally is. Get everything open. Load. This is loading. Not so well. Alright, get on there. At least I'm not slipping and sliding around too much yet. Snow's just starting. see, straw is still a good today, but what about hay? Hay also, alright. So I got both the straw and the hay today. Alright, I'll see you at the shop. Alright, here I am at the shop with the greenhouse stuff and the eggs. Basically the produce. Alright, so 15,000. Okay. Alright, I'll see you back at the farm. Alright, here we are back at the farm. Get some straw bales hauled out. Now I need to take the straps off the trailer. Oh, grease the hubs apparently too. Okay. Off to the shop with the next load to go. Alright, here I am at the shop. Let's see how much. Alright. 8,200. Yeah, so about $8,300 for that load. I got another one back at the farm to bring, so I'll see you there. Alright, here we are back at the farm again. Get the next load of hay loaded up. Alright. I'm back to the shop again. Alright, here we are. The last load for this month. Another 4,000. Alright, head back to the farm again. Alright, here we are back at the farm. Now I got to put the straps back on this trailer for tomorrow. Looks like the Unimog needs a full oil change. Alright. Diesel oil change is a little pricey. Alright. Alright, since this is the second half of the month, I need to take some grain to the chickens. That should be enough. Okay, let's see. 65, 47. So I can't quite buy that yet, but soon I'll be able to buy that. And I'll be able to start marching my way on across. Yeah, if I buy that here, like next month or something. I'll end up putting in a pea field and a rice field. Alright, so let's go ahead and proceed to next year. Apparently it snowed a lot. How did I get a violation for animal feed? Yeah, that don't make no sense. How did I? Because I had absolutely no restrictions on. Should have had no animal feed problems, but somehow I got penalized for animal feed. Yeah, well, red tape mod continues to disappoint. I guess that shouldn't be too much of a shock. Okay. It's like, what's going on? Looked like one of my forks had broken off. That's something that can happen and every so often will in real life, but never seen that happen in game. So I'm like, what the heck? Ah, whew, that was a hell of a. Yeah, my day job we use pallet forks on skid steers to remove old asphalt in large chunks when we don't want to grind it all up into we just want to get it all ripped out quick and be gone with it. And we've broken forks doing that. I promised sticky pallets this time. Neither one of the egg pallets were full, so I'm not going to load them up. Yeah, and Plymouth rocks don't lay year-round the way that Brahmas or Jersey Giants do, or to some extent Sussex also lay year-round. Alright, I'll see you at the shop. Alright, here I am at the shop. Alright, 12,000, 13, so 14,000. Not bad at all. Alright, head back to the farm. Alright, here I am back at the farm. Park the Una mug. And since it's the first of the month, gotta do the water. See if I can do a donut. Nope. Nah, it won't let me do a donut. I must be in four-wheel low. Actually, going this fast has to be four-wheel high. That's one of the best things you can do for a young driver. The first time you have really good snow, take them to a big empty parking lot that has no light poles in it, no parking lot lights, so that there's nothing to hit and no other cars, and have them do a donut in the snow, because that'll let them get the sensation of being in a skid in a controlled environment where they'll never, so they can, they'll know what it feels like before they enter a skid, going down the highway. Of course, if you can get your new driver to like the state police skid pad, that's even better. But that's usually only so many people can get in there. But I've heard one of my the company I used to work for, Superior Asphalt, their Lansing plant was right down the street from the Michigan State Police skid pad at their headquarters. And one of the things that you would hear from young drivers when they went out and did the skid pad thing is, they'd felt that sensation before, but they didn't know what it was. Because there's usually before your car completely breaks and goes, spinning off into a ditch, there's usually like hydroplaning or little micro skids that you will recover from. If you know the sensation and what to do with it, that can be a very important warning, to the driver, to change how they're driving. But if they don't know what it is because they've never experienced it, that warning goes unheeded. So, best option, of course, would be like a true skid pad. But if not, on a snowy day, take them into an open parking lot. Make sure, like I said, that there are no light poles in it, no other cars. Take them in the center and have them do a couple donuts so they can feel what it's like to skid in a controlled area where there's nothing to hit. Alright, I'm going to finish up all this watering off camera. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Yeah, game's a little stuttery right now. I noticed some odd textures in the snow, and I checked it. Apparently the latch patch had turned FSR on again, so I had to disable FSR again. Now I don't have that odd texturing problem that FSR creates. But I'm going to end this episode right here. Thank you very much for watching.